concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. I am so glad you are here. I'm so glad you're here on a Monday night to do a little Q&A. Woo! What do you guys think? Should we replace the song? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Is it time to get a new intro song? Yes or no? Boom. We're going to find out. The poll will decide. The poll will decide. Welcome everybody to the live stream. No drink slurping today. No, I got no drink today. I got no drink today. What am I up to? I'm up to like 60 ounces today. 60 ounces of agua, quality H2O. Is my refrigerator running spin solve 4? That's a strange question. Is your refrigerator running? Do you have Prince Albert in a can? Whee! Phantom FPV, very good to see you. Very good to see you, man. Whee! Phantom FPV. Can I show you something, Phantom? Now, I'm going to do this live on the stream, and it may not work out like I expect it to, but that's a risky take. It's a risk I'm willing to take. I was doing some market research, some, just YouTube research. And one of the things you do is you bring up an incognito window. You go to youtube.com and you search for search terms in your niche. And you see what other people are watching in your niche. So I go in there and I search and I type FPV. And it's interesting. Now, this is an incognito window. So in theory, it's got nothing to do with my search history. That's pretty impressive. Rotor Riot. #1 result for FPV. Interesting. Potato Jet, not that surprising. Potato Jet, pretty awesome. Hey, look at that, me. But I saw, uh-oh, it's not there. See, I was afraid that would happen. I was afraid that would happen, Phantom. I swear to God, Phantom, this afternoon, I typed FPV into YouTube in an incognito window, and your tower dive was there. I swear. I was like, wow. And I mean, theoretically, this is an incognito window, but I mean, I was like, could that be that's got to have something to do with me, right? I don't know, but it was there, man. So obviously, you guys are all going to get different results. I'm sure you're not going to get the exact same results, but you know, I was like, heck yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Some of these are the same, but anyway. Yep, interesting. I'm doing some market research. Anyway. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. The song is by Velveteen, and it's called, you might have guessed, it's called Do You Want to Follow? Velveteen. Yep. Gonna find out how to take my channel to the next level. From what I'm learning, the key to taking your channel to the next level is to see what other people are doing and rip them off. And I'm not sure why I paid for a class to tell me that. No, I'm joking. But that is the gist of what this person is saying. Look at what other people are doing that's working and then rip them off. Okay. Sounds good. Let's see how that poll is coming along. Ooh, oh, it's tight. It's tight. We're going to let it run for a little while longer. Here's what I got going on, folks. This is you. This is you right here. I'm reading your comments, reading your questions. Yeah, Carbon Cage FPV says, pretty sure your channel's at the top level anyhow. That is a thing that is, I mean, the material that I'm reading about and learning about is very much from a perspective of you're small and up and coming, and how do you get bigger? And they're like, basically the advice is, I mean, it's more sophisticated than this, but basically the advice is ride the coattails of a bigger channel. But in this niche, at least, I'm one of the bigger channels. So what are my choices? To ride the coattails of a channel in another niche? I don't know. We'll see. The poll is officially over. We're keeping the intro song. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing they say, Vidya O's. They say is like, don't just steal someone's idea and make their exact video. That's not good. But at the same time, you will tell a story in your own voice, and your audience will want to see you do it your way. So don't be afraid to take ideas that other people are executing on, and put your own spin on them. The fact that it was close means change it. Oh, interesting take. 52 to 47 is pretty close. It's pretty close. I don't know. I'll think about it. I guarantee if I change it, there will be an outcry. I'm going to be paying attention to your comments here in the chat. As always, I'm also going to be paying attention to these beautiful, beautiful, lovely sausages over in my Discord server. This is their opportunity to spam GIFs. Joe R. wants to know, I updated the firmware on my Mobula 6 and my Tiny Hawk Freestyle 2. Now I'm getting fail-safes at 100 feet from the house. Can firmware affect the fail-safe? That's unlikely, Joe. I mean, in theory, because Betaflight, if they have SPI-based receivers, Betaflight is controlling what they do. So in theory, it could have introduced a bug that causes fail-safe. But I think it's unlikely. I think it's unlikely. Classic John Goblin. Classic. That's a classic GIF. Oh, no, that's not okay. Gonna get demonetized. All right, you've lost your GIF privileges. That's it. That's it. We're not gonna let you put any more GIFs on the stream. TD Boots says, any tips for focusing the DJI goggles into your eyes? TD Boots, the DJI goggles don't have any focus adjustment. What I used to do is just wear my glasses underneath them. That's not going to work for everybody's glasses and everybody's face. You can also get diopter inserts and install them. They are from Optic Fisher, I do believe. Optic Fisher is the company. I think they sell them. Fat Shark lenses, Optic Fisher. I'm pretty sure they have DJI lenses as well, but I'm not maybe it was RHO. Select your video goggles. DJI. Yeah, okay. Select type DJI FPV goggles. Okay, the Tador. Yeah, so, I mean, if you really want to do it up right, you can get these custom diopter inserts. 70 euros. I mean, for glasses, that's not much. If you don't normally have a prescription, maybe trying different goggle foam that are different thickness could help. It's possible. Josh Fisk wants to know, is 1 watt HDZero the nail in DJI's FPV coffin? That's a great question. Let's put that to the chat. Create a poll. Is 1 watt HDZero the nail in DJI FPV coffin? I wonder what the chat's gonna say. I know my answer. I don't think so. I don't think the answer. I mean, there's no comparison between the resolution and range of DJI and HDZero. HDZero, like here, hang on a second. I'm gonna show you guys something. This is a video I've got coming out on my channel soon. It's gonna take me a second because I got to open up Premiere to show you because it's in editing. Now, I will say, 1 watt HDZero could be the nail in the coffin for analog. Like, obviously, the price is going to keep some people off, but I think 1 watt HDZero is where HDZero is finally like, all right, I see you. You know, yeah. But is it a nail in a coffin for DJI? Well, let's just take a look here. Hang on, let me mute this so you guys aren't listening to a bunch of BS. So this, yeah, okay. So this is the Foxeer DigiSight. Let me make that full screen. This is the Foxeer DigiSight. This is an HDZero camera. And then the Foxeer Apollo is the exact same camera, supposedly, but for DJI. Let's compare. Where's the dang? What am I doing here? Where's the? There we go. Why did it not? Oh, there we go. There we go. So there's Foxeer. There's HDZero. There's DJI. You see a difference? Let's zoom in a little bit. Here's HDZero. There's DJI. Okay. And then I went on. Now here is HDZero. This is the Foxeer DigiSight camera again. DigiSight V3, by the way, not the V2, not the older one. This, I tried to do the sort of Scraggle test where I fly through the trees, and I could not see enough detail to feel confident diving into this Scraggle. I just kind of hovered around for a minute and was like, like I just was sure. Like, you can see this branch here, but like it feels like there's more branches that I'm not seeing. Whereas with DJI, it was just enough that I was able to get in there and I was able to fly through it. Now, so no, it's not the nail in the coffin. And the chat agrees with me. 83% say no, it is not the nail in the coffin. Now, does that should not in any way be taken as like a slam on HDZero. They're just different products for different people, for different audiences. And HDZero, especially when HDZero's 200 milliwatt racing VTX and the Switchback HD and Evan Turner, when all that happened, I feel like that was the moment where HDZero sort of gained legitimacy for racing. And when the 1 watt VTX becomes widely available, based on the results that I'm seeing, I obviously haven't gotten a chance to try it yet, but based on the results that I'm seeing, that's where it will sort of gain legitimacy for freestyle and general use. But it's not going to, very few people I think are going to be like selling their DJI just to go HDZero. Anyway. It looks like it's just out of focus, says Jaime. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's not. It's not out of focus. I assure you, that's just how much resolution it has. Just how much resolution it has. So, alrighty. On the other hand, I think HDZero is going to crush it in Tiny Whoops. What's the best way to get audio for your DJI goggles? There isn't a best way to do that, Gordon ML55. The DJI doesn't carry audio if you're using the DJI FPV system. The DJI FPV drone carries audio, but doesn't. So the equipment clearly can carry an audio link or an audio feed, but the DJI FPV system doesn't. There is no way to make it. It's not an option. You would need some other audio transmitter, like an analog VTX, but that would be stupid and no one should do that. So, the Air unit will record audio to the DVR. That is correct, Family Guyver. But that's it. Greenbone wants to know, why won't my RXSR receiver turn on when I press the bind button and plug in a battery? Do you think you could help me? I assume it does turn on the rest of the time. That's a tough one. I mean, does it mean the bind? I would think physical damage. I can't think of anything that would cause that other than physical damage. That's what I would say. We got a question here from 84FPV saying his Jumper R81 receiver won't bind to the TX16S. All firmware up to date. Power up the receiver with bind, then hit bind on the transmitter. It just times up, times out. Are you definitely binding in, is it the R81? Is it D8 or D16? I think I know, but I don't want to get it wrong. So, is the Radio Master R81? Radio Master R81. This is a D8. So are you definitely binding in D8 mode? I mean, that's the likely thing. All per the manual. All right. Well, I don't know. Does it ship with LBT or EU firmware? I don't think it does. Yeah. All I can say is, follow these steps, and if it doesn't work, I think you have a defective receiver. Flush FPV says, I got my quad stuck in a baseball net 30 feet in the air. It's still plugged in till the morning when I can get it. Should be okay, just battery dead, right? Yes. Battery dead. Willpower FPV, if the binding instructions are wrong, do you have the correct ones? The battery will be toast. You should discard it. Other than that, it should be fine, as long as it doesn't get rained on. If it gets rained on, that'll be bad. Scroll wants to know if I'm coming to Costa Rica for the race in February. I do not currently have a plan to do that. I'd have to look at the dates. I actually have a prior business commitment in February, actually. I'm not 100% sure that they overlap, but I am 100% sure that if I spend 2 weeks at a business trip and then go to Costa Rica for a race, I will not enjoy missing. Let me put it this way. I won't enjoy being away from my family for that long. I was going to blame it on my partner, but that's really unfair. She'd be like, okay, do what you got to do, you know. But I wouldn't enjoy that. I don't think it'd be worth it. Let's see here. We got some super chats coming in. I'm going to go ahead and, oh geez, Thomas Lilly. Would HDZero be better than the stock receiver on the Amway Commander V1? Yes. I mean, I feel confident saying that HDZero is definitively better than analog at any given milliwatts of output. So currently, the race transmitter for HDZero is 200 milliwatts. If you're running a 25 or 200 milliwatt analog, HDZero is going to be a step up. What's going on with my super chats? My super chats are being weird. Go super chats. Scroll up. Okay, let me get some of these super chats out of the way. Thank you guys so much for your donations. If you would like to make sure that I see your message and read your message on the chat, hit the $ right down here. Leave a super chat for a couple bucks. You could pretty much make me say whatever you want. I mean, I reserve the right. Greenbone, if your RxSR turns on when you plug into the computer, then, but it doesn't turn on when you press the bind button, right? Right? Let's see here. Why do I call my wife my partner? I assure you that is also her preference. Yeah. I mostly just like to confuse people. We were actually not married for the longest time, for various reasons. We didn't get married. And then, so we weren't, she wasn't my wife. Eventually we did get married, more for legal reasons than, I didn't want her to be able to testify against me. They can't compel you to testify against your spouse. And we were up to some shit. So we were like, we better get married so they can't put you on the stand and make... Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I really do enjoy saying my partner, Issa. And people then wonder if Issa is the name of my gay lover. Or maybe I'm secretly a lesbian. It just confuses the hell out of them. And I really enjoy that. My neighbor, when I first moved into this neighborhood, he said, he called Issa my wife, and I said, oh, we're actually not married. And he said, whatever, she's your wife. So that's another way to look at it. Let's get these super chats, guys. Let's get these super chats. Vampire, thank you for a $2 super chat. I already learned something today. Take my money. Okay, I will. Thank you so much for your $2. Cheech FPV, thanks for a $5 super chat. Thank you for posting the Blue Jay video. Very helpful as usual. Thank you so much, Cheech FPV. That Blue Jay video, I talked about the Blue Jay firmware for your BLHeli SESCs. I know Blue Jay's been around for a while. There's two things going, because some people were like, geez, you're like a year late. There's times when there's a new technology and I kind of don't trust it, and so I hold off making a video about it. That's actually not what was going on here. I made a JESC video years ago when it first came out, and I've been kind of riding it. And it was just lately that I started hearing from people, and I'm not saying I wasn't behind the times, but it was just lately I started hearing from people, no, everybody's using BlueJ now. I was like, oh, well, I should make a video about that. And when I get that vibe that I'm like, oh, I should make sure that people know. Maybe like, 40% of you already knew that. Maybe 10% already knew that. Maybe 80% already knew that. But it's like if you're flipping through the encyclopedia. You know what an encyclopedia is, kids? And one of the letters is missing. Like, I don't want there to be that little gap in the knowledge that I could be making content about. So I just felt like making that video, and I'm happy to have put it out there for you guys. Jeff Schultz, thank you for a $5 super chat. Christopher S, thank you for £5 super chat. What was that PC game you were building pipelines? It's called Factorio. Christopher S, it's called Factorio. Alrighty, I've seen Grant get timed out like 3 times in a row. Listen, if your messages are repeatedly deleted by mods and you keep making the messages, I will just ban you from the channel. I don't give a flip. I just don't care. Fair enough. Like, the 3rd time a moderator deletes your message, you're just trolling, and I don't think it's funny, and I will just never know you exist ever again. So, worth keeping in mind. Ho Operator, thank you for a $5 super chat, Ho Operator. If you want to grow, do not talk about real important issues like what you banned me for. Okay, so first of all, Ho Operator, I didn't ban you. If I had banned you, you wouldn't be here right now leaving me super chats. So thank you for $5. I timed you out, I think. I don't remember. And there are many important issues that we will not be talking about on my channel. Like, for example, I have had these lesions on my... Never mind. You know what? Let's not talk about that. There's lots of important issues that make people feel uncomfortable or that are just not the appropriate place and time. And some of the things you want to talk about are some of those things, and I don't want them here. You can talk about them somewhere else. Ryan, thank you for the super chat, Ho Operator. Ryan Waters, thank you for a $5 super chat. Shout out to It's Blunty. Helped me with his troubleshooting service. Set up my new 5-inch. Had the best day ever. Best money spent. Thank you, Ryan Waters. Yeah, It's Blunty has a troubleshooting service where he'll get on a Zoom call with you and troubleshoot your I also have such a service, sort of. I have limited slots on my Patreon. So people would say, well, I'll be like, I'll help you for free. I just, we'll do it via email or whatever. And they're like, well, can you just call me? And I'm like, I just don't have time to call people most of the time. Like, it's faster for you if I call you. But it's faster for me if I can carry on 7 different email conversations at once and churn through my email. And say, well, can I get on the phone with you, please? What'll it take? And so I made a Patreon tier. It has limited slots, but it is one of the rewards of that Patreon tier. So, but Blunty does it cheaper than me. So if you want one-on-one troubleshooting, you should totally hire him. Absolutely. Justin Rice, thank you for a $10 super chat. Just wanted to say thank you. I'm traveling to Southwest and flying mountains for the first time. GPS Rescue has saved me 3 times till now. Awesome, Justin Rice. Awesome. Enjoy those mountains, man. Mark Philly 80, thank you for a $5 super chat. Building a custom X8 using a 30x30 T-motor, 55 amp 32-bit ESC, and a 20x20 55 amp 32-bit ESC. That should be fine aside from reliability, right? Well, yeah. Here's the thing, Mark Philly 80. Do you really believe that 20 millimeter 55 amp ESC is just as durable as the 30 millimeter one? Do you really think so? There's no world in which I'd run an X8. I mean, you didn't say what motors you're using. Most people who are building an X8 aren't using like 2306 motors. Maybe you are. Usually when you're building an X8 Cinelifter style, you've got big ass motors, 3,000 sized motors or maybe bigger. There's no way I'd run those off a 20 millimeter ESC. You're just taking your life in your hands. So, yeah, you can do it. the chances of the ESC popping are much higher, but hey, it's an X8. So when you lose a motor, you're good. You're good, right? I guess. Thank you, Rye Heyman, for a $2 super chat. I do not know anything about Rotor Rampage 2022. I haven't heard a thing about it. When was it? When was it last year? Tickets. What was the date? I think it was toward the end of the year, wasn't it? I can't remember when it was. May 15th. Oh, that's actually coming up. They should get something out there. We'll see what happened. Any possible Cine lifter content in the future? Ask Oeo. Interesting questions. Here's the thing. I don't make a lot of Cine lifter content because I don't do a lot of Cine lifter stuff. Like, I could build a Cine lifter, and then what? What am I going to do with a Cine lifter that I can't do with a 5-inch? And I'm not trying to be down on myself. I'm saying if you're going to make Cine lifter content, you need to actually be using them. Well, I don't have a red Komodo. I don't have a. I could spend $6,000 and go buy one. For what? Frankly, a Cine lifter is the kind of thing that you need to be using on, like, preferably on a set. And flying a lot and figuring out. And I kind of would feel like a faker. Like, I would just be thinking all these other guys know that I'm not actually using this as a professional pilot. And I feel very strongly that as a teacher, you need to make sure that you are passing on good information to the people who learn from you. It doesn't mean you need to be an expert all the time. I absolutely believe in the scenario where the teacher is reading 1 chapter, 2 chapters ahead of the students. As long as you're careful that you're giving them good information, accurate information, and as long as you know when it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I don't know that, and stop. But it feels like that world of Cine lifters has nuances that I'm missing, and I don't know. I could build one. I mean, I built the Beast class, you know. Anyway. Maybe though, because as I said earlier, I'm always sort of looking for ways to improve the channel, and I did in fact start taking. I joined this this program to sort of learn more about how to make your YouTube channel better. And one of the things they say is that you look at the other channels adjacent to you and you look at what kind of content they're making, and that's probably stuff your audience also wants to see. And there's no doubt that Cine Whoops and Cine Lifters have gotten really popular, and really people are really interested in them. So we'll see. Edward, PS4, thank you for 50 Norwegian kroner. What would be a good indoor drone? I am running with the Tango 2 from TBS. Thanks for your great videos. They always help me. If you're running with the Tango 2, you probably want one with Crossfire on it. Crossfire is not spectacular for tiny whoops, but it can work. A good indoor drone is like a tiny whoop, right? I mean, I think the thing to do would be to get an external Express LRS module and get a tiny whoop with an Express LRS receiver built in, like a Happy Model Mobula 6. That would be great, because even the smaller Crossfire antennas have a little bit of weight. But I am a big fan. Yeah, so get a Mobula 6. Get a Mobula 6 with Express LRS and a slim Express LRS module. Slap that module on the back of your Tango 2 and you just will be living life. By the way, if you're thinking right now, well, that's all well and good, but how do I put Express LRS on a Tango 2? Guess what? Bada bing! I have that video almost completely edited, and I just have to decide when to post it. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow. I don't know. Oh, we can get rid of that Blue Jay firmware. That's gone. Is that? Can we get rid of that? Yeah, we can get rid of that. Done. Done. There we go. Okay, that's cleaned out. Okay. You guys see what I got? What I'm working on lately. That's how I send footage to my editor. I put it in uploads. He puts it in deliveries, and then I move it to DRE videos and edit it and work on it. Thank you, Hoss81. Good, glad you're here, my friend. December 1st, Hoss81 had no quads today. He has 4. What happened? Oh. Wesley Vardy, I'm so sorry to say, Wesley, the only Slim module I own is the Beta FPV module. And yes, I had to open the damn thing up and push that stupid button to fix the problem that keeps you from flashing it. I did. But yes, that's the only Slim module I own. I got to solder on that capacitor. What are you going to do? Yep. Oh, that guy Carlos enjoyed that little peek into my workflow. Yep. Yep. That's how it goes. OneDrive is the key. OneDrive makes it all happen. Thank you, Make It Fly, for lots of love from India. When do we get to find out what you're doing in your yard? Oh, interesting. Wesley Vardy says, don't give Beta FPV the promotion. If it makes you feel better, Wesley, I'm pretty sure I cussed about them and complained about them the whole time. Although I'm not sure that's going to make it into the video. But yeah. Athix FPV should really be colored blue. Athix, you get to be blue. You could be brown. You could be blue. You could be blue. What computer am I using to make the magic happen? I don't know, Hobby Howie. What do you want to know? You want me to bring up my task manager? My computer is... Wait. I've got a... It's a 4.4 gigahertz i7, I think. With a bunch of hard drives. These hard drives down here at the end are SD card readers, so they don't count. This is a RAID 1 backup drive, and then these are all SSDs internal to the computer, used for holding footage and stuff. An RTX 3080 and a shocking amount of memory. Why do I have 64 gig of memory? I don't need it. The answer is that I once suspected I had a bad memory stick, but I wasn't sure if it was the memory stick or the motherboard. So I knew I needed at least 32 gig of memory. So I bought 64 gig of memory so that if I was stuck at one stick of memory, at least I would still have 32 gig. And then it turned out that Anyway, it turned out that both sticks were good, so now I have 64 gig that I never use. Anyway. Yep. Am I using the GPU for streaming? I'm not encoding using the GPU. I guess I wonder why I'm not doing that. Oh, do you know why? Because sometimes I stream video games, and I want the GPU to be used for the video games, not for encoding. Although I'm not sure if it uses separate, like, cores for that or something. Aerobrat thinks that there will not be a Rampage in 2022. Yeah, I'm not sure what the logic is there, but... Ho Operator, thanks for $10. Another $10 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Willpower FPV, thank you for $2 Canadian. My last $2 while I wait for my unemployment check. hey, at least you live in Canada, where even though you're unemployed, you still don't have to die of a health condition. I mean, on the other hand, you live in Canada, so, you know. Ghost Branch says that using NVENC won't influence gaming performance. I wondered about that, Ghost Branch. So I could be using NVENC to stream. Interesting. Currently, my CPU percent is 25%. So I'm encoding this at 4 megabits per second, so seems all right. Fat Pastor, thanks for a $5 super chat. You should do a video on Rotor Hazard setup for small racers. That's interesting. Is that the timer? You know, Rotor Hazard, that's an interesting idea because even if you wanted to use an off-the-shelf lap timer, you kind of can't buy them anymore. Like the TBS lap timer hasn't been manufactured in forever, and the Immersion RC lap timer also hasn't been manufactured in slightly less of forever. So these days, if you're interested in timing, I mean, I feel like for a lot of people, Rotor Hazard is all you're going to get. Interesting. Maybe I should do a video about that. With a Delta 5, yeah, exactly. Reggae FPV wants to know what props are suitable for my 2407 motor. For long range on a 7-inch, I mean 7-inch props, right? Like 2-blade 7-inch I would use for a long range 7-inch. I mean, not that I know a lot about 7-inch. Does Rotor Hazard work with live time? Somebody confirm it for me. I think it does. Somebody confirm it for me, though. I'm not 100% sure about that. Where do I solder a receiver for a FlySky transmitter to a Tiny Hawk 2 Freestyle? Asks Praxis Gamer 02. All right, Praxis Gamer, let's do it. Let's do a deep dive. First thing we're going to do, Tiny Hawk 2. And we're going to look up the manual for the Tiny Hawk 2. Because Emacs is really good about having pinout diagrams and stuff. Okay, so let's go to emacsusa.com. How about that? Nope. Okay. Can I just find the Emacs website, please? There we go. Tiny Hawk 2. After Effect FPV and RC, thank you for a $5 super chat. How is your cable management? Well, you can see behind me, my cable management, not perfect. Not the worst ever, but not perfect. You can see here behind the desk. It's not perfect. It's not the worst, though. It's okay. So, coming back to this question. We want an S-Bus receiver? It's a FlySky receiver, that's right. Where's the manual? Just Control F manual. Nope. All right. It really needs to be on the product page, Emacs. But we'll let it slide if we can find it here. Manual firmware CLI binding. Tiny Hawk 2 ready to fly manual. Okay, acceptable. So what I want to find is the pinout diagram for the flight controller. I suspect it's going to be here. It usually is in Emacs Quads. They have pretty good manuals. That's the VTX. Don't care about that. Here we go. Tiny Hawk 2 all-in-one flight controller. So FlySky uses any UART RX pad. So we're going to use the DSMX. So in that case, we can use the DSMX. We can always wire a FlySky receiver up like a DSMX receiver. They wire up the same. So we're going to look over here. We've got DSMX. This is RX1 right here. Hang on a second. Let me make this a little. Oh, yeah. We're going to mark you up. We're about to mark you up. Oh, what color is it going to be? It's going to be red. Here we go. Oh, yeah. You like that? I don't know what happened there. All right, so the signal wire is going to go there. I guess we shouldn't use red. We should use yellow. for signal wire is commonly yellow. Signal, and then ground. And the only problem is we cannot use 3.3 volts. We're going to need 5 volts. So 5 volt right here. Boom. That's how you're going to wire up that FlySky receiver. Bada bing. Zorian Passmore wants to know, when using Gyroflow, what do I do when there aren't any lens presets for what I'm shooting? Nothing for SuperView or for the GoPro Hero 8. Zorian, I mean, I don't know the actual right answer for that. I think let's look. Let's look at Gyroflow here. Gyroflow is image stabilization software. Where did I put Gyroflow? Is it Gyroflow file folder? Come on, Gyroflow. We're trying to live stream here, man. Gyroflow is just sitting here, pissing me off. Oh, Windows, you piece of... Windows, don't do that. With that stupid Windows shake to minimize all. Stupid. Why have I not deactivated that? Now all my windows are effed up. So here in Gyroflow, we can always just say camera calibrator, and we can create our own calibration for it. If that's the actual right thing to do. Run the calibration. It's going to create this chessboard, and you're going to need to go through the steps of calibrating it. Okay? I don't know. I never did this, but that's what you actually need to do. Now you may be able to like kind of pick something that kind of sort of works, but that's the actual right thing to do. PDX FPV in the Discord is trying to activate their Vista, but it's not registering in DJI Assistant 2. PDX FPV, did you download the DJI FPV Assistant, or did you download the DJI Assistant? Because they're separate apps. Make sure you downloaded the DJI FPV Assistant. Did we ever get an answer? Yeah, so it looks like, according to Fat Pastor, Rotor Hazard does not work with live time yet. So, no is the answer there. PDX FPV, the next thing I would try is a different USB cable. As I would guess that your USB cable is messed up, maybe. It's so a lot of USB cables that like come with your phone are for charging only. And they won't pass data. So Patrick Bacon says, total noob in KISS stuff. If you get the KISS Ultra, what ESC do you match it with? Patrick Bacon, an obvious choice would be something like a FetTech ESC, but I think that a lot of people are just using BLHeli ESCs, BLHeli 32. BLHeli 32, the newest BLHeli 32 ESCs have an F4 processor. Like, let's pick a site. Let's go to Race Day Quads. And what we're going to do is we're just going to look for a BLHeli 32 ESC. No, an ESC, please. So when we look at the ESC, let's find a good one. iFlight Success 60 amp, 32-bit ESC. And then what we're going to look for is we're going to look at the specs, and we want to know whether it is the newer F4 processors or whether it's the older processors like the G071, I think is an older one. Notice that this says up to 48K PWM frequency. That's an older ESC. If you want the absolute like best cutting edge performance to pair with your super awesome KISS Ultra flight controller, then you would pass on that. Now let's see if we can find an actual good one that BLHeli 32. Let's try F4. No. How about 128K HZ? Come on now. I just found an ESC. We just found an ESC for the new product roundup this afternoon that fits this criteria, but I can't find it with the search results. Here we go. So look at this Diatone ESC, Diatone Mamba F40. Now this ESC, the PWM range is 24 to 128K. If you have an ESC that does the full 24 to 128K PWM range, that is one of the newer, higher-end BLHeli32 ESCs. Now, some of the older ESCs will do 128K, but it's only like 96 to 128. That's not what we're talking about. But if it's got the full range, 24 to 128K, that means it's one of the newest, fastest, bestest BLHeli32 ESCs, and that would be the one that you would want to get. All right. Going back to the question about the Vista, PDX FPV. Going back to the question about the Vista. Like, oh, whoops, I come back. I should lock that camera. Hang on. Can I lock it? There we go. If we look right here, PDX FPV, can you check? If you look, do you see DJI Assistant 2, parentheses, DJI FPV series? It does. Damn it. Well, you got the right one then. Darn. Is AM32 dead already? Says Athix FPV. AM32 isn't dead. In fact, I thought, who was it who just released an AM32 ESC? It wasn't Diatone. I thought it was going to be Diatone. But here's the thing. Who's making it? Was it Flywoo? I don't remember who it was. But here's the thing. Now that BLHeli32 has proper RPM-based variable PWM frequency, in my opinion, that was one of the big advantages of AM32 firmware. Now, there are going to be people who like AM32 firmware because it is open source firmware for BLHeli32 ESCs. BLHeli32 is closed source. You cannot modify it. Only the devs can. And there are going to be people who just like open source and want to support and contribute and participate in AM32. And for those people, obviously, that's great. But for people who just want to get the best performance out of the ESC, when AM32 first, well, I say came out, it's an open source project. No one's really making hardware for it. I think like one company is now making firmware or hardware for it. So it didn't really like come out. But when I first learned about it, BLHeli32 had variable PWM frequency, but it was based on the throttle position, not the motor RPM. And that's bad. That's inferior to the way that AM32 did it. Now, BLHeli32 has proper RPM-based variable PWM frequency between 24 and 128 kilohertz. And so obviously I haven't flown them back to back to say for sure, but I think that BLHeli32, a lot of the appeal in terms of performance of AM32 is not as compelling anymore. Pop FPV says that you need to be using, oh, he says it's working now. He has no idea why. Okay, great. Glad it's working. David Saintone wants to know, thank you for $2 Canadian. Apparently I missed your super chat, David. So I'm glad I caught it. David Saintone, can you please talk about the OpenHD project? I guess. For $2, I will talk about the OpenHD project for at least a minute or two. So OpenHD is an open source HD FPV project. That's pretty cool. You can read about it more on the GitHub page. OpenHD. It uses off-the-shelf Wi-Fi adapters, but it is not using Wi-Fi. These Wi-Fi adapters can be made to send sort of arbitrary data. And, oh, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. So it sends high definition video, telemetry, audio, and control signals over a single transmission channel. Very cool. So why isn't everybody using it, right? Well, one reason is that you have to build the hardware yourself, and some people find that to be exciting. Some people find that to be annoying. Where is the getting started? Maybe that's sourcing hardware. So the hardware that's used is a Raspberry Pi, Wi-Fi cards, an HDMI cable. The next reason why more FPV pilots aren't using it is that it's kind of large and cumbersome. Obviously, you know, you could make cases for it. Oh, to do. Nice. There's tutorials out there. Let's see if I can find a tutorial. OpenHD build project, connecting everything together. Oh, here's Curry Kitten doing a video about it. And you can see right here immediately. Hi, Curry Kitten. Hang on a second. I was looking at that nice picture. There we go. So here's our Raspberry Pi. This is our... Presumably that's our Beck that's powering it. Here's our Wi-Fi adapter. You're not going to put that on a mini quad, right? Fatboy FPV says they sell hardware for OpenHD. You got a case for it, Fatboy FPV? Let's look at Fatboy FPV. OpenHD. Your search is shitty. Your search is shitty. Not your fault, I'm sure. Your website backend is crap and doesn't know how to do a fuzzy search. I can't believe I'm not turning up any products. I will now never shop at your site again and cuss you to my partner. No, I'm joking. OpenHD. Here it is in the... Here it is. Sorry, Fatboy FPV. So we got parts here. Looks like about 25 bucks for the adapter, for the Wi-Fi adapter. 25 bucks, so 50 bucks all in. So the next reason that more people aren't using OpenHD is that because it's based on the Raspberry Pi, the latency is pretty bad. The latency can, if you have a fast enough computer, get down to relatively tolerable, but for the most part, it's not. It's good for airplanes, like flying up in the sky like Wesley Vardy does, but not for proximity. So the thing is, the interesting thing about the OpenHD project is that it has so much potential. The technology is fundamentally sound. And there was a Patreon going around a while back, and I don't know what happened to it. If anybody knows, tell me in the chat. Somebody was raising money on Patreon to try to build an ASIC, I think, to do OpenHD encoding much faster than like a Raspberry Pi. And I was like, isn't that the kind of thing you should do a Kickstarter for, not a Patreon? But you know, that's I guess that's none of my business. And I don't know what came of it, but. So a lot of potential in OpenHD, but currently the latency is not there for proximity and racing. The best latency, says Fatboy FPV, is about 55 milliseconds. Fatboy, is it constant latency? Does it have retransmissions or is it broadcast? We'll see. He'll answer me in a second because of the stream delay. So there you go. That's the OpenHD project. Lots of potential. Still very sort of kludgy. Really too big and not durable enough for mini quads. Maybe okay for wings and too much latency. All right. Lucas Celeste, thank you for a $5 super chat. Thanks for helping me with all the emails I've sent. You always help without question, and I speak for everyone when I say it's very appreciated. Thank you so much for those kind words, Lucas Celeste. There was a guy on, he said, hang on, what was his name? They're public comments, so it should be fair game to show them on a stream. I don't know, comments. Comments? No. Damn it. No, I want... Okay, here's what I need. Best live stream ever. Oh, shoot. I'm not... Damn it. No, I've got his name wrong. He said, damn it. Oh, come on. Yeah, I got him. I got him. Okay, I got him. So this guy, he said, Joshua, you seem like a good guy. This was this morning. You seem like a good guy. I like to watch your videos, but I have asked you questions on multiple occasions, and you never once answered any of my questions. But other FPV tech guys, I won't mention any names, that have just as much or more subs than you do, most go out of their way to try and help answer some questions. And I know you say this is your full-time job, and you asked us to donate to support your channel or buy from your affiliated links. It'd be nice if you would answer our questions, especially you remind us this is your full-time job and help us out, bro. As was, by the way, this was a very courteous complaint. So no hard feelings to Frankie. Very cool, very cool. This is, how to do it. But I was like, really? Because I answer a lot of people's questions. So I went back and I searched. 2 months ago, Frankie said, this is not a question. He's just commenting on the video. 9 months ago, Frankie left me a message. Joshua, what kind of goggles are they? They're not digital. But, hey, so you're like, aha, Frankie asked you a question 9 months ago, and you didn't answer. Yeah, no, that's technically correct. The video that he commented on was from 2019.
I'm Joshua Bardwell.
2019. So here's the thing, guys. I have over 2,000 videos. I don't see the comments. When I go to my YouTube notifications, if you comment on a video from 2019, I won't see it. So Frankie did, in fact, ask some questions that I did not answer. But I may not have seen those questions. Yeah. So, anyway, Frankie, get a hold of me. Get a hold of me, buddy. Get a hold of me. Email me, Frankie. You can always email me. Okay. Dirty Deed says, is there any risk in increasing motor startup power on a tiny whoop? When my battery gets to 3.6 volts, 1 or 2 motors don't spin up. I mean, the risk of increasing motor startup power is that you fry the motors. That's the risk. Why not just increase your idle speed a little bit? Isn't that doing the same thing? Yeah, give it a go. The other thing is if you're running 96K, you definitely have decreased the torque. But, yeah, try increasing a little bit. Doghouse FPV in the Discord reminds us that you can run a Lua script on your radio, and it will set the date and time of your black box logs. I'll give this link to the chat as well, if you're interested. Your radio has a real-time clock in it and a battery. So if your radio knows the time and date, which mine probably doesn't, you can run this Lua script in the background and will give Betaflight the time and date from the radio. That's pretty cool. I know this. I've known this exists for a while, but I never really mess with it because I kind of don't care. But that's not bad. That's a good idea. Some people will really benefit from that. Make sure I didn't miss any more super chats. Okay, I don't think I did. I mean, increasing Dirty Deeds, increasing like an 8mm motor startup to, you know, 8% or 9% is not actually that unusual. So increasing the startup power to something like 1080 or 1090 should be fine. All right. Praxis Gamer wants to know, how do I get solder to stick to the board? Praxis Gamer, if solder is not sticking to the pad, then either the pad or wire has corrosion on it, which is probably not the case for some new piece of electronics that you bought. But if you're soldering on something that's been in use in the field, then it might have corrosion on it that needs to be cleaned. Most common reason solder not sticking is that you're not getting the pad hot enough or not enough flux. So be using flux. Flux really helps. And make sure your iron is hot enough. Joel L. wants to know, can you recommend an F7 flight controller for individual ESC 5-inch freestyle quad? Joel, honestly, very few people are using individual ESCs anymore on 5-inch quads. Very few. You're going to struggle to find a frame that fits the ESCs on the arms. All-in-one, I mean, like, could you buy somewhere an AIO flight controller? Yup. Here you go. This is the one. This is the one. I don't know. Maybe there's another one out there somewhere. Make an affiliate link for you. Here you go, buddy. That's the one to get. Holy Bro Kakute F7 AIO. $40. Jeez. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Speedy Turtle wants to know, can I use an FTDI adapter wired to a UART on a flight controller to flash a flight controller that is ripped off USB? Speedy Turtle, here's the problem. You got yourself a bootstrap problem here. What I mean by that is this. So here we are. And we're going to go into this flight controller. And we're going to go to the ports tab. If you go into the ports tab and enable MSP, oh, you need to flash it, not configure it. That's interesting. So here's the thing. You can flash it, yes. An F7 flight controller for sure. If it detects transmissions on UART 1 or UART 3, it will automatically enter DFU mode on those. So you hold down the bootloader button, you connect the FTDI adapter to UART 1 or UART 3, and then you power it up and you hit go on the flasher. The flight controller detects, the MCU detects the transmissions on the UART. It goes, I see. I'm going to go into DFU mode on UART 1. And then you successfully flash the flight controller. Now what? You can't connect to it. So the problem is that you need MSP enabled on that UART in order to configure the flight controller. And what you can do is, there used to be somebody that was making builds of Betaflight that had MSP enabled on UART 1. In fact, actually, hold on. Well, Speedy Turtle, you don't need MSP enabled to flash it. You just need MSP enabled to configure it. If you already have MSP on UART 6 for DJI, that'll work. But you can actually disconnect. If you go to the firmware flasher tab, check this out. I believe, oh, stop. Yeah, look at this. USB rescue maintenance. It's right there in the configurator. So, I don't know what UART it is, but it's probably UART 1. Here are builds, all the Betaflight builds for people who have ripped off their USB port. If you use an FTDI adapter to flash this on UART1, then you also will have MSP enabled on UART1. But if you've already got MSP on UART6, you don't need this. I just wanted to point it out because a lot of people don't know it exists. If you only need to configure it, then yes. If you don't need to flash it, if you only need to configure it, put the FTDI adapter on UART6, you're good to go. It'll totally work. No For Real FPV says, I turned the ADC filter off on my TBS Mambo, but it's always back on after power cycle. I didn't think Freedom TX had the ADC filter. Am I crazy about this? Am I crazy right now? I don't have batteries in here. Crap. All right. Oh, they're tight. Can I just plug in USB and have it power up? Will that work? I don't think that works. Oh, it's going to work. Charging. You're not charging anything. Shut up. You don't have a battery in there. Will you power up? Oh, you will. Perfect. Okay, so... it thinks it's charging. There's no battery. I'm going to go menu, page. We're going to hardware, right? Hardware. ADC filter. Okay, ADC filter is there. All right. So I'm going to turn ADC filter off. I'm going to exit, and I'm going to power down. And now I'm going to power up.
Welcome to Mambo.
Welcome to Mambo. Okay, page. No, shit. Menu. Page, hardware. It's back on again. Somebody... Okay, so I'm having the same experience. But I didn't think... I don't know. I also agree that it is resetting itself. So I don't have an answer for you there. Email Mike Chin. Email TBS support and ask them. I wish I could give you an answer because I would like to help you solve your problem and, you know, have you feel indebted to me. But I don't. Murders FPV says it happens to him too. There you go. Doghouse FPV wants to know any rule of thumb for how warm lipos should be when charging to get the maximum capacity. I read that this is important. It never occurred to me. Seems common knowledge they need to warm up to get maximum capacity when flying. I've always charged out in the cold without thinking about it. What about lithium-ion batteries? Doghouse, here's the thing. The colder a battery is, the higher its internal resistance is. The higher the battery's internal resistance, the more energy will be wasted as heat, as energy flows into or out of the battery. In addition, when discharging the battery, the higher the internal resistance, the more voltage sag you'll get. I don't see why a battery would not reach 4.2 volts per cell when charging, regardless of its temperature. I'm not talking about being like in the freezer. So if you think about it, if you're trying to push current into the battery, you raise the voltage applied to the battery terminals, and the higher the internal, let's say you're trying to push 1 amp into the battery. So you raise the voltage, the charger raises the voltage, and the current begins to flow. And the charger continues to raise the voltage until 1 amp is flowing. Well, if you think about it, current equals I equals V over R, right? The R in that equation is the internal resistance of the battery. So the higher the internal resistance, the higher the voltage will need to go to push that 1 amp of current into the battery, okay? But it's going to get there, right? It's going to get there. As the battery approaches 4.2 volts, the charger switches from constant current to constant voltage mode, where it basically holds the voltage at 4.20 or 4.21 volts, and the current trickles in and slows down as the battery tops off. And then at a certain point, the charger goes, okay, that's good enough, we're done. The higher internal resistance of the battery, I don't see why it wouldn't get to full charge. It might take longer to get to full charge, and it might heat up and potentially light on fire if the internal resistance was extremely high. So here's the other thing to keep in mind, Doghouse. The battery will warm up from the charging process. So it is good for batteries to not be too cold when charging them. I have heard people suggest, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard them suggest that when batteries are charged and they're too cold, they can take damage. I can't verify that. I don't know the answer. So I would say, you would want to be ideally around room temperature, right? 19 Celsius, 17 Celsius, 16, 17 Celsius. That's about room temperature. Warmer is better. But if they're cold, it's not the end of the world because they'll warm up from the current flowing into them when they're charging. Greenbone says, JB, I bought your Xylo kit. It worked, then it didn't even fly. And then it didn't even fly it yet. And my ESC and flight controller just fried. Now the receiver won't turn on. I mean, if you had spontaneous death of your flight controller and ESC, the right thing to do is to contact GetFPV, explain the situation to their support people, and see if they will replace it for you. If both the ESC and the flight controller spontaneously fried, I don't want to point fingers or make accusations, but there's some chance that it was something you did wrong, like with the wiring or whatever. Now, unfortunately, once it fries, your chances of figuring out why it fried are usually destroyed by the fire. So I may not be able to tell you why it fried, but I would be careful about the wiring for sure. And maybe it was just bad luck and you can get a replacement. So contact GetFPV support is what I would say. Lucas Celeste, thank you for a $10 super chat. Is there a command I can type into the CLI tab in Betaflight to bind a Crossfire receiver that came pre-installed? No, Crossfire cannot bind from command line. You have to push the button, or if you're lucky, you may be able to do it without a button push. But usually, especially if it's a new radio that the receiver has never seen before, you would have to push the button. So what I would do if I were in your situation is, Lucas, I would put the Crossfire module into binding mode, then I would power up the quad. Now at this point, either the Crossfire module will go, hey, there's a new receiver here, I bound to it, you're all good. Or it might say update firmware. But if it doesn't detect the receiver and bind to it, you will need to press the button on the receiver, and that may involve tearing apart the quad. All right. What tiny whoops would you recommend for this season? I think the Mobula 6 from Happy Model with built-in Express LRS receiver is very tempting. Josh FPV wants to know, is there an ETA on the Radiomaster Zorro review? Josh, they haven't sent me the radio. As far as I know, they're not shipping the radio until close to the end of January. I don't know that. That's not a fact. Please don't take that as a fact. I thought I heard that there was some delay in manufacturing and they would not be shipping till the end of January. So verify that with other sources if you need to. But if I don't have the radio, I can't review it. Right? Makes sense. I don't think anybody has it. Let's see here. Can I add a custom voice command to my Tango 2? Yes, you can. Nino Singh. But the files need to have a very specific format. So here is an OpenTX speaker voice generator, which generates voice files automatically, or you can record your own using various tutorials by recording it. But it has to be saved in a specific format, like a specific bit rate or whatever. Angel Rojas, I do not have new glasses. And in fact, not only do I not have new glasses, if you look at my Zenny Optical, this is where I buy glasses. This is not a sponsored. Not a sponsor. No sponsor. No sponsor. If you look at my Zenny Optical history, you can see that I have ordered the same glasses. The same glasses. Since June 2018, I have ordered the same glasses 4 times. And I just reorder the same damn things. Because I like how they look. So. Yeah. I do not only do I not have new glasses, even if I did have new glasses, I wouldn't have new glasses. What has changed your life, Brandon RC? What has changed your life? Wow. Sunshine FPV has a 4-inch build. Sunshine FF has a 4-inch build made of junk parts. All right, let's see it. This is Sunshine's Frankenstein quad. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? We got spinners on the motors, boys. Spinners on the motors. It's 2018 again. Get your hex driver out to tighten those nuts down. Yeah. No. Skyblock is Pog. Thank you for $4.99 super chat. What's your opinion about the Beta FPV Meteor 85 Express LRS and the Tiny Hawk 3? Beta FPV in general is very inconsistent in their quality control. So it's hard to confidently recommend them, because if they make good products, and if you get a good one, you'll be happy, but if you get a bad one, you'll be sad. So, like, I would rather recommend the Happy Model Mobula 6 to you than the Beta FPV Meteor 85. Probably. As far as the Tiny Hawk 3 is very good. Emax makes good stuff. Pacific Northwest, we recorded the new product roundup today, and the HDZero antennas are on the new product roundup. Let's just show those for Pacific Northwest pilots here. Is this it? Yeah. So these are new antennas for your HDZero that pop in and replace the stock antennas. That's kind of cool. Is the Mobula 7 HD good? Praxis Gamer says, is the Mobula 7 HD any good? I just bought it and I want to know if it's worth it. I love this question, and people ask this all the time. Is Product X any good? And I start to think about my answer, and they say, because I just bought it. And I go, you tell me. Like, what am I going to say? Oh, God, no, it's shitty. Oh, you're going to hate it. Why would I say that? By the way, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if you already bought it, Like, that's like you say, the waiter says, what are you going to be having for dinner tonight, sir? I'm going to have the linguine with prawns. Okay, thank you. The plate comes and sits in front. The waiter sets the plate down in front of me, and I go, is this any good? Like, I don't know. Here it is. You tell me. Taste it. You ordered it. That's your dinner. Oh, no, sir. That's terrible. I was scandalized when you ordered it. That's our worst dish. Like, is it any good? I don't know. Do you like it? You already bought it. You're not getting your money back. May as well fly it and see if you like it. You know? Maybe it's good. Maybe you'll like it. And here's the thing. If I were to say, oh, yeah, no, the people have had a lot of problems with that. Like, let's say you said, I bought the Beta FPV 85 millimeter. Whoop. And you say, is that any good? And I start to say, well, a lot of people, inconsistent quality. And you go, because I already bought it. I'm like, well, maybe you're going to get a good one. Have fun. Enjoy. So, yeah. Lucas Celeste, thank you for another $10 super chat. Last question, I promise. Listen, Lucas Celeste, you just keep leaving those $10 super chats. You ask as many questions as you want. You know what I mean? No need to apologize. Does a naked Hero 8 from GepRC come pre-installed with QR control software? I read that it needs to be powered with the battery to install the software. I don't know that it does. You mean the GoPro Labs? Do you mean the GoPro Labs firmware? I think that's what you mean. Pacific Northwest, no bother, man. So I don't see any indication in the product page that it ships with the GoPro Labs firmware. I just reviewed a naked camera that does ship with GoPro Labs, though. What was it? I don't think it was this one. Does anybody know? I could watch my review. GepRC full camera. Oh, maybe it's here. Oh, here we go. Scan the QR code. Hell yeah! It does. I was thinking of this camera. Bada bing, Lucas Celeste. I think you're in luck. It does come with the GoPro Labs firmware. Otherwise, it could not scan this QR code. That's the answer. That's how I read it. All right. Glad we could help you, Lucas Celeste. Skyblock is Pog. Thank you for a $5 super chat. Corban, also thank you for a $1 super chat. No question. Skyblock wants to know, what's the difference between a Mobula 6 and 7? A Mobula 6 is 65 millimeter wheelbase. A Mobula 7 is 75 millimeter wheelbase. The Mobula 7 is larger and heavier and more powerful. The Mob 7, I think does it run on 2S? DTFPV says the Mob 7 is too much for indoor whooping. Some people would say that that's true. Other people would be like, nah, you can do it. But yeah, most people would agree a Mobula 65 millimeter is best for indoor whooping. Mobula 7 is 2S. That's what I suspected it was. All right. What are the best bang for your buck goggles? Asks Corban. I assume you mean analog goggles, Corban. I think the best bang for your buck are probably, now fight me in the chat, okay? Fight me! I think the best bang for your buck are the SkyZone Sky 04L. Analog goggles. Ooh, Cobras. Oh, ooh. Ooh, that's interesting. Gonna have to create a poll. Wait, should we do it as a straw poll? Nah, I'm going to do it as a regular poll. Sky 04L Cobra X. EV200D, I can't modify it. EV200D is solid. I feel like there's like more bang for the buck with a higher end goggle. The Cobra X is quite good. Now it's a box goggle. The Cobra X is a box goggle, so some people are going to be like, no, I don't want it. $250 for the Cobra X. That's a lot to pay for a box goggle. $360, so $100 more for the Sky 04L. I would probably take the Sky 04L, honestly. But you would not be making a mistake to get the Cobra X. Is the 04X worth the cost versus the 04L, asks Athix. So the Sky 04X today is $529. Man, those OLED screens are sweet. But wow. Let me just do some math in my head here. 529 minus 363 equals... It's $166 just to get those OLED screens. I think a lot of people would not think it was worth the upgrade. Wild FPV says, do you think the fixed aspect ratio of the Cobra S is a problem? I would probably live with it. I would probably live with it if I wanted to buy the Cobra S. But I think the Cobra X is worth the upgrade. What's the field of view on the Sky Zones? 39 for the L, 43 for the X. Let's see what the chat says. Oh, wow. Okay, chat is absolutely definitive. Field of view is how big the screen appears to be in your eye. Sky 04L, best bang for the buck analog goggle. The chat has spoken. It is a fact. That's the one. That's the one. Now we know. Skyblock is Pog. Thanks for another $5 super chat there. Oh, we just got a bunch of super chats coming in. Let me get those. What do you need to buy if you get a Mobula 7? Like what goggles and controller? So the goggles will be any analog 5.8 gigahertz goggle. So Sky Zone goggles, Fat Shark goggles, most any goggle will work. If you want to shop around, you could go to, oh, here it comes. Who saw this coming? FPVknowitall.com. FPVknowitall.com. It's the place you go when you want to know what to buy so you don't cry because you bought the wrong thing. Then your wife throws a ring in your face and leaves, and you're stuck with a bunch of worthless FPV shit you didn't want. FPV Know-It-All. You can avoid that whole situation. I'll work on that jingle. If you go to that URL and you look right here, Ultimate FPV Shopping List, I have recommended products in various categories. This one is goggles and antennas for FPV drones. And we're going to go to analog goggles, and you can have some suggestions here. Are these still in stock anywhere? Okay, that's going to be a no. They're redirecting. No, we got to get that off of there. That's not in stock anymore. But here's the Sky Zone Cobra X and some other suggestions for things you might consider. So that was my freestyle. That was off the dome, baby. I was rhyming off the dome. It wasn't rap. I don't freestyle rap. I freestyle a jingle. Am I going to the Orca V2 RC Ritter FPV? No. The Orca, so I have the Orca V1s. They actually are currently broken. My Orca V1s, they were my daily. So here's the progression of Bardwell's daily driver. You ready for it? I was flying the Fat Shark HDO2s for the longest time with rapid fire. They're amazing. They've updated the DVR firmware to make the DVR not have black flashes and stuff and basically be better. But when they updated the DVR firmware on the HDO2s, they made it so that if you switch from NTSC to PAL camera after powering the goggle up, it doesn't record the footage. The footage is all messed up. It won't resync. It locks in at power up time. So I was doing a review of a quadcopter, of two quadcopters. They were analog, obviously. And one of them had an NTSC camera, one had a PAL camera, and I didn't realize that. So I record the first one. I got all the DVR. I fly the second one. All the DVR is ruined because I didn't power cycle the goggles. Hang on, I got an itch. Sorry. And I was like, F these goggles. F this. It happened to me twice, actually. And I was like, never again. Fat Shark, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. You betrayed me for the last time with your DVR. So then I switched to Orca. Orca is a great DVR. Can have a microphone that records audio. So good, so good. Oh, why was I not using these the whole rest of the time? I don't know. Then the right screen on my Orca starts going out, just turning off randomly. Power cycle, it comes back on, turning off randomly. It gets worse and worse. I reached out to Orca, and this was months ago for the record. This was in 2020, maybe 2021. I reach out to Orca. It's 2021. I reach out to them and I say, hey, I got a problem with my goggles. And they say, no problem. Send them back. We'll look at them. They conclude that the optics module has a problem. And Ivan, the CEO of Orca, the owner of Orca, I think, he says, look, I'll be honest with you. At this time, we do not have any replacement optics modules for you. We're just out because of the component shortage. But he said, I took the optics modules out of my goggle, my personal goggle, and I put them in your goggles so you could have them back. I was like, thank you. That's really, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. They send them back to me. Two months later, the right screen's going out again. So I'm like, all right, Orca, you're dead to me. They're not dead to me. I'm exaggerating. Fine. Who's next? Who's next in line? SkyZone, Sky04X. You're up. Oh, Sky04X. Screens look really good. The menus are nice. The DVR is nice. Don't have the microphone recording my voice like with the Orcas. Good goggles. Sky04X. The rapid mix module. Little inconsistent. I'm recording this review. And I'm like, geez, the VTX on this quad is terrible. The range on this quad is terrible. And then I think, wait a minute. Because I've just switched to the Sky Zones. I'm like, wait a minute. I take the Sky Zones, I put them back down, I put my Fat Sharks with rapid fire back on. Suddenly the range is great. Yup, my Sky Zone module is messed up. So I'm back to the Fat Sharks, baby. And the messed up DVR. So I would love to get it. I've come to think of it, I'd love to get some Orca V2s. I would love to, actually. I loved my Orca V1s before they broke. But I'm not going to pay $570 for them. I'm sorry. I searched my soul. And it's not going to happen. It's too much money for me. Now, if I didn't have any analog goggles, and I was like, what should I buy? Sky Zone, Fat Shark, Orca? Maybe I would. I'm not saying they're not worth $570. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying, given that I have a perfectly functional set of HDO2s and a perfectly functional set of Sky Zones, I can't bring myself to pay $570 for the Orca V2s. If they sent me one for a review, I'd review them. But I have to say, I feel like they probably won't do that because I feel like the read that I'm giving them, my general sentiment towards the goggles is like, meh. And I feel like I would have too many complaints and that they wouldn't really like that. Like, they're fine. They're fine analog goggles, but I'm not sure that people are going to pay $570 for analog goggles. The future is digital. Don't worry. It's coming. Oh, $570 plus the rapid fire module, by the way. $670, like $700 with a rapid fire module. I don't know. That's a little, it's a big ask. So, why don't you put the rapid fire in the Sky Zone? Well, shit, that's a good idea. I guess I'd have to 3D. It doesn't fit right. I'd have to 3D print a case. That's a good idea. That's probably the smart thing to do. Anyway, that's the story of my saga with Goggle. My saga with goggles. Anyway. Let me get the rest of these super chats before I miss them or upset anyone by ignoring them. X-Zargan, thank you for $14.99 Australian dollars. Dollary dues, as I like to call them. No. You can't get canceled for making fun of Australian accent. No. That's fair game. No. No, it's fine. The French will cancel the shit out of you. No, the Australians are cool with it. Thank you for $14.99 dollary dues. Hi from Australia, picking up the radio after a long hiatus. I cannot find any information as to why no one uses the X9D anymore. Is my radio out of date or what? It's not great. It's not a great accent. I apologize, X-Zargan. Sorry. That's my favorite aspect of the Australian accent. Is the way they turn A's into E's. I cannot find any I can't do the rest of it. I love it. The X9D is out of date, but it's a fine radio, and you're more than welcome to keep using it. It can be updated to the latest firmware. It supports all the latest features. You absolutely should keep using it if you're happy with it. A lot of people aren't using it. They've moved on to big color screen radios, but there's nothing wrong with your radio, and you should keep doing it. Oh, you can't? Oh, you looked it up. You can get canceled for doing a bad Australian accent? You can. Oh. No, the Australians don't have a sense of humor. They just kick you right in the nuts when you're not looking. And they call you a C word. And that means they're your friend. Man, I just don't know how Australians manage to date. Earl Jensen, thank you for a $15 super chat. Thanks for everything you do for the community. What is your favorite quad to fly right now? It's my perfect freestyle build. No, actually, that's not true. I take it back. I do love flying my perfect freestyle build. I got to tell you, the problem with flying my perfect freestyle build is if I smash it and break it, then I feel bad and I have to fix it. And the quad that you will love to fly the most is the quad that you don't have to worry as much about breaking. I had so much fun flying the Gep RC Smart 3.5 when I was doing my trippy spin tutorial for two reasons. It's reasonably durable. A 3.5 inch is going to crash a little bit nicer than a 5 inch because it's lighter and smaller. And I had a spare. So I knew if I broke it, I could just get right back up in the air and keep going. And it's just, I mean, it doesn't, I enjoy flying my perfect 5-inch freestyle build more, but there's always that undertone of, man, I hope I don't crash and break it. That sucks just a little bit of fun out of it. And whereas when I put like a 3-inch or a 3.5-inch up, I kind of DGAF, and that is pretty fun. Nutmeg FPV, thanks for a $5 super chat. What are the advantages and disadvantages of 900 versus 2.4 gig Express LRS? Why do people prefer 2.4? 900 megahertz will have longer range, watt for watt. However, it cannot go as fast in terms of the latency, and it has larger antennas, and people find that annoying. It also, 900 megahertz, you can't have as many pilots in the air at the same time without interference. So 2.4 gigahertz, advantages. You can go to 500 hertz or even 1,000 hertz with 2.4 gigahertz, although 1,000 hertz isn't out yet. So you get much lower latency. Well, some lower latency. You get smaller antennas. You get more pilots in the air without interference. And you get shorter range. But here's the thing. 2.4 gigahertz Express LRS already has preposterously long range. So it's like you go to 900 megahertz and you get 100 kilometers. On 2.4 gigahertz, you only get 60 kilometers. It's still, you don't need it. So that's why 2.4 gig has all advantages, and the only disadvantage, the shorter range, doesn't matter. Oh my goodness. I don't know, my scroll is not working. There we go. Skyblock is Pog. We got you. Skyblock is Pog. Thanks for another $5 super chat. Thank you for your generosity. Does the TX16S work with the Mobula 7? Yes. The Mobula 7 probably will come with a D8 receiver built in. TX16S will bind to it. Skyblock is Pog. I got another super chat from you. Skyzone Skyo20 OLED 5 goggles. Those will work with the Mobula 7. Yes, sir. Those will work. But so will a lot of other things. Phil from KC, thanks for a $2 super chat. You'd think Orca would send me a set of V2s. I mean, I don't want to presume, and I certainly don't want to put them on the spot by, like, begging or complaining. I think that my review of the Orca FPV Control was more critical than they would have hoped. I'm just guessing. I'm not saying that because, they have always been respectful. They have always been neutral towards me, unlike some companies where if you're critical of their product, they like throw a hissy fit and they won't talk to you ever again. Orca has always been super cool, and I mean I do like and support what they're doing, but you know, as a reviewer, I got to be honest about the product and give my honest opinions, and sometimes I don't have the same perspective on the product that the company that's making it does, and I just got to say what I got to say. And I feel like when you receive a product, like if I was going to receive a product and I knew that I was like 46% enthusiastic about it, I probably just shouldn't review the product. I definitely shouldn't accept the product for review, knowing, like usually when I accept a product for review, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. And I give it an honest first impression, and I do my review. But if there was a product that I already thought that I didn't feel enthusiastic or positive about, and the vendor said, "Do you want to review it?" Probably it would be rude to say, "Yeah, let me review it. I'm going to rip the guts out of this thing. Thank you for giving it to me." You know, you should at least buy it. If you know you're going to rip the guts out of it, you should at least pay for it, and then you're free and clear. You don't owe anybody anything. So I feel like the Orca FPV Pilot goggle, it's a $570 goggle. That's a lot. That's an expensive product. And like, it feels to me like it's just like the FPV-1, but with a smaller field of view. Pretty much. There's a few other changes, but it feels like it's the FPV-1 with a smaller field of view. It's a fine analog goggle. Someday it's going to have compatibility with the HD system, but that doesn't matter today because I can't review that. So I don't think if Orca said, "Hey, do you want this goggle for review?" I might feel like it was sort of unethical to be like, yeah, send it to me, if I know that I am going into it with a less than neutral opinion. I guess if you go into a review with a predisposition to like the product, that's fine. If you go into the review with a neutral disposition, that's fine. But if you think you're going into the review with a negative disposition toward the product, you should at least pay for it. That's my take. Thank you, Crabtree FPV, for a $5 super chat. Why doesn't DJI make a smaller set of goggles? They don't think that you want them, and they don't want to sell them to you. DJI pilots are used to giant field of view. That's what they're used to. RC Revamp, thanks for a $5 super chat. Betaflight 4.3 RC1 won't open on any of my PCs, but it loads 4 duplicate tasks in Task Manager. Any solutions? Download RC2 and see if they fixed it. RC2 is out. Riat9, thank you for a 420 Australian. Can I get an Aussie? You're going to learn something today. Oh, man. G'day! Stu here from UAV Futures. It's the other aspect of the Australian accent is the U. Stew. It's not stew. It's stew here. They like to get their tongue up in the top of their mouth. Stew here. G'day! Right. That's one Australian accent. Which Australian accent do? I don't know. All right. I got to do it. It's 420. He paid me 420. We should listen to an Australian accent. Who's an Australian we should listen to? Is it Steve Irwin? I don't want to get copy strike. Here, how about this? Let's look up how to do an Australian accent in under 2 minutes. I'm going to get copy struck for this. The Actors Academy. How to do an Australian accent. I don't want to get a copy strike, though. I'm just going to try it. Here we go. I'm self-conscious now. I can't do it. I'm too self-conscious. I'll come back to it. Crabtree FPV, thanks for a $2 super chat. Phil from KC, did you see Stu's latest vid? Oh, no. No, he just came back. He's got some bad shit going on now. He just came back. There's a fake UAV Futures going around scamming people. Damn it. I know Stu won't copy strike me.
Rightio. G'day,
Rightio.
you absolute legends. Stu.
G'day, you absolute legends.
From UAV Futures here. And
Stu from
today, a bit of an update, or me being a little bit grouchy, so we've got to talk about that. I know the audio might suck because I'm just using this front cam today, but we have a ton of videos lined up on the bench ready to rock and roll. That are going to be pushing
the bench. Ton of videos on the bench.
On very, very soon. Some big projects, so stay tuned for that. However, today I'm going to be a little bit grumpy, I am really sick. I didn't want to have to do this video. Really sick of this scammer.
Really sick of this scammer.
His name, well, the email. If you get an email from this, if you're a company watching this, or let me know if you've been affected.
I don't know how you say it. You're going to learn something today. I can't say it any way except my usual way. You're going to learn something. How would they say it? Gonna learn. I can't get it.
By this, it is stu.uavfutures@gmail.com. Heard from it. So anyway, if that is you, stu.uavfutures@gmail.
I can't. You're gonna learn something today. Gonna learn something today. Today. There it was. That's die. Today. You're gonna learn something today. Your. How would you say the your? I can't get the your right. You're gonna learn something today. You're gonna learn something today. You can't. There we go. You're gonna learn something today. You what? Okay. There it was. I got there. Learn something. Okay. Hey, it's a super chat. I have to do it. I'm obligated. I apologize to those who found that cringy, but it's a super chat. You got to do it. Did you notice a big difference with the Nazgul Evoke trying out the X-frame and the Dead Cat? I did notice a big difference. Now, one was DJI and one was analog, so there's other differences. I thought the X flew much better. Much better. Have not done any work on my Mustang yet other than a cold air intake and an air filter, which is not really anything. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do any work on the Mustang, to be honest with you. Currently, it breaks the tires loose. So I feel like if you can break the tires loose, in second gear, right? But just by stomping on the pedal, then you don't need more power. You need to work on your suspension and your tires. I mean, that makes sense to me. If you can stomp on the pedal in second gear and break the tires loose, then increasing, like putting a bigger turbo or downpipe or whatever, a bigger intercooler, that's just going to mean that you spin out faster, right? So I've been thinking about, the problem is that if I get summer tires, then in the winter they drive like crap. So I'm not sure what we should do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Right, Siati? Tell me I'm wrong. You got to, well, right now it's the stock tires and they're summer tires. So in the summer, the tires don't break loose, but in the winter they do. Maybe I should get winter tires. Anyway. It's the what are the stock tires of the Mustang? 2019. They're like they're summer tires. They're like performance tires. I don't know what tire it is off the top of my head. I can't remember. God, we got a ton of super chats I got to get out of the way before the stream ends. Let me get this sorted out, guys. Bannister Post, thanks for a $7 super chat. What would you choose if you had to? LCD with larger field of view or OLED with smaller field of view? OLED all the way. All the way. All the way. Any word on DJI fixing the issue with the V2 goggles unpairing from the FPV drone after using them with the Vista unit? Joshua Bryant, thank you for $5 super chat. No, there's no progress on that, and there never will be. You just suck it up. They're not going to fix it. I mean, having said that, they'll fix it, and then you can thank me later. But no, they're not going to fix it. They've moved on with their life, and you need to move on with your life. Mark Grennan, thanks for $5 just super chat, just because you're fun. Grass Wizard, thanks for $5. I'm dead. The Aussie accent has got them. ETFPV, thanks for $5. Thanks for the entertainment. This is iSpank. Thanks for a $20 super chat. When are you coming out to Oregon to fly the FPV park? Yeah, it's going to be a minute before I get on a plane. I don't think it's a great time to sit in a plane in a very small enclosed environment with a bunch of strangers breathing on each other. Maybe someday, this is iSpank, I would be, tell you, come out here and you help me build some stuff for my yard. Okay, here's the deal. I'm not coming to Oregon, but if you're stupid enough to get on a plane, I'll fly you out to my place and we'll build some shit and we'll put it up in my yard and we'll rip it. Open offer. Open offer. Yep. Thank you, RC Revamp. $2 super chat. You're a genius. Yeah. All right. That's it. We're caught up. Yay! 9:58 p.m. 2 minutes till the end of the stream. Thank you, guys. That was a really fun stream, honestly, with you. Oh, shit. He'll just bring the COVID with him to my house. Yeah, good point. Okay. I'll stay in the house and you build stuff in my yard. No, I wouldn't do that. That's just a joke. Aaron Ciotti FPV is going to be streaming at 10 p.m. Sorry, Ciotti, I haven't plugged you at all. He's posting the link to his stream. He's going to be setting up Immersion RC Ghost live. Well, that won't take very long. What is it going to be, a short stream? He lives in Portland, presumably. Phil from KC. Now everybody else wants to come to my house. Thank you, Phil from KC, for a $5 super chat. We are going to wrap up for the evening. I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the news with Blunty and throughout the week. Thank you for coming out. And thank you guys for your support. Thank you, the patrons in the Discord. Links down below if you want to join my Patreon and help support me. And I will answer your emails regardless. Happy flying, everybody. Have a good night. Have a great stream, Ciati.